Hello, today's our topic is about JUnit testing. So, what exactly is JUnit? JUnit is it's a unit testing framework where we can automate unit test cases with it. Okay, so actually it's a unit testing framework which where we can use it for the automation to automate the unit test cases. Okay, and if you look at the JUnit, the current version we have is JUnit 5, and this is the current version. So if you look at the previous version, it's JUnit 4. And if you look at any projects which are happening as of now in any companies, they'll be making use of the JUnit 4 because the JUnit 5 has recently just started, and the most of the projects in the real time are still with the JUnit 4. So what exactly? This is the previous version. It's always very much important for any project to have the JUnit test cases built with the help of JUnit 4 or 5. So let's say that one company, let's say that any company has started have ongoing project. So let's say that if company has an ongoing project. So if they have JUnit 4, and then they will continue with JUnit 4 till the end, till the um, till the project get sunset. So that's nothing but till the project ends, they'll be sticking to the JUnit 4, because converting from the JUnit to 5 is not so. Of course, it's easy, but it hardly happens in the real time. So, so whenever they start with any version, they will stick to it till the project sunsets or the project ends. Okay. So the organization, the most of the projects, I have the JUnit 4 instead of the JUnit 5, and that's the thing. Okay, so today's the topic we're going to discuss about both JUnit 4 and JUnit 5. Okay, so okay, so if you look at the current ongoing projects, before the code before the code is delivered, we definitely need to prepare below three reports. These three reports are important before we deliver it to the before we deploy into the production kit. It's mandatory. The first one is JUnit test case. So first one is JUnit report. The second one is which tells us the how many the test cases are passed. Unit test cases are passed. So we can get that report. And the second important thing is code coverage. So the code coverage is very much important because if you look at the few tools like Sonar and of course a few CI and CD, continuous integration, continuous development, such kind of products, for them the code, they have some standards. Let's say that in my organization we have this standard of 80%. So they should be the code coverage. Your unit test cases should cover at least 80% of the 80% with the unit test cases. So that's the mandatory we have. So the code coverage should be always 80 than more than 80% to deploy into the next higher environment. To yeah. So the third one is the sonar report. This is the report. Okay. The third one is a sonar report. So why do we need this sonar report? The sonar report. What is a sonar? The sonar cube is nothing but actually the sonar cube is a kind of an application which resides on an server where it has certain set of rules and regulations to be followed while coding. Okay. So let's say that let me talk about one of the rule what we have in our the project. So when we compare anything with the string, let's say that we have some string, some name, and if name is not equal to null, okay, then perform some condition. Okay, so here we are validating, we are saying that name is not equal to null. So this is not the standard way. This is not the right way. Always we should write null is not equal to name. So this is the standard. This is one of the important rules. So this rule we have set it up in the sonar. So this is the one of the rule what we have in the sonar. So whenever the developer tries to code as name is not equal to none, then it's going to throw error. So it's going to not move ahead. It's not going to allow him to go ahead. Okay. So in that way, there can be any set of rules and regulations present in this sonar cube. So we need to follow those set of rules and regulations. Okay. So we need to follow according to the sonar. Okay, that's important. One of the so this is the third important sonar. This is the report you need to have. Okay. Okay. Now let me jump onto the JUnit 4. So let me first of all let me select JUnit 5. Or else you can do one thing. You can directly search with JUnit and click enter. It will directly take you to the JUnit 5 because that's the current version. So if at all you need to go to the older version, then you need to select this, which is present at the right top. Okay, the first of all, let's look at the JUnit 5 documentation. Let me select this Java documentation here, or you can also select here from here. Okay, okay. Let's look at the structure. Here we have org.junit.jupyter. Okay, and then um, star. Okay, so org.junit.jupyter. Something blah blah blah. So this is structure what we have. Let's look at the JUnit 5, JUnit 4. Let me open JUnit 4 and select the Java doc. Where is it? Don't see Java doc. Okay, this is the, okay, let me select here. This is JUnit 5. What happened? Or you can directly search with the name Java doc. Let me search with the name Java doc. Okay, here I have Java docs for the JUnit 4. Okay. So here, if you look at, so this is the structure what we have. Let me increase the font. Okay. So this is the structure what we have. So these are the packages. So you can see only we have few packages, whereas the JUnit 4 so whereas the JUnit 4 it has So let me go back and select this. Okay, let me select this. Okay, fine. So these are the packages available here. So you can say it has many packages when compared to JUnit 4. So the other important difference what we can see is if you look at the structure, here we have the package in the form of r.junit dot blah blah. But whereas here the structure is r.junit dot um, junit.jupyter. Okay, so that's one of the difference we can see between JUnit 4 and JUnit 5. And the other important thing, as I have already discussed here, so according to the, this is the important rule to be considered. According to the, according to written of written on investment, it is not advisable to migrate from one JUnit version to other. Okay, it's not advisable. So that's the reason usually the project ends with only in one particular JUnit version, and till the end of its the tenure, end of its till the project ends. That's an important point. So the no projects, the no team or the no organizations wants to migrate to the next version of the JUnit. Let's say that we develop a project with a JUnit 5. Let's say that we develop a JUnit 5, then let's say that after a few months, if we get a JUnit 6, then we will be not migrating to JUnit 6. Instead, we will be continuing with the JUnit 5 till the end of the project, till the project ends. So who does use the JUnit? So all the small projects are, of course, I see all the small projects, they hardly use JUnits, and all the big organization or the big projects must and um, should have the JUnit. So the importance of the JUnit is whenever so for the JUnit is nothing but for each and every method we need to write a unit test cases. So whenever there are any kind of changes to the project or to the code, and at the end of the day when the JUnit run and if it fails, then we will get to know that there is the breakage, there is some the fault with the code. So that's how we will get to know very easily. We can find the things very easily. Okay, so first of all, let me jump onto the project and let me show you how to the create. Before that, there are few rules and regulations that we need to follow. Let me tell you about that. There are a few rules and regulations that we need to follow. These are rules for JUnit 5. JUnit 5. The first rule is should start with the public. JUnit test cases should not they should not start with public. That's the important rule. Okay, whereas in the JUnit 5 we should and must start all the methods as public. Okay, that's the rule. Here it is we should not use, whereas in JUnit we should use. So the other important thing is method method should not start with public. That's the important rule. So the JUnit class should not be public. So let me write this here. So JUnit class should not be public, whereas and other important things method should not be public. Whereas in the JUnit for the methods and the class should be public. That's the rule. And we have the third rule: methods should not return void. Okay. Methods should return void because they should not return anything. They should not return anything because here they not because that particular method will not be used by any other class or it will not be called by any one. So these methods should be written. It's for the both JUnit 4 and 5. Both for the JUnit 4 or 5. So whereas this is for these all these conditions are for the JUnit 5, whereas for the JUnit 4, the JUnit should start with public and method should start with public. Okay, the method should return and it is common for both the JUnit 4 and 5. Okay, that's the thing. These are the rules we have. Okay, before I talk about jump onto this thing, okay, before I start talk about jump onto the coding, let me talk about one more methodology that's nothing but TDD. That's a TDD. It stands for the test driven development. Okay, I hardly see the companies following the TDD approach, and the most of the companies don't follow it. So here the main difference is whenever they start the project, first of all they will be writing the unit test cases. First, they will not starting with the coding. The first of all, they'll start with the unit test cases by using JUnit and Mocket and all the stuff. So they will be starting with the unit testing. So once they complete their unit testing, then they will start development. Okay, that's the process. That's the process about the TDD. And as far as I know, I believe there are a few organizations who follow the TDD approach, but most of the companies they don't follow it. Okay, now let me jump onto it. Jump onto the project and let me create JUnit 4, a project which supports the JUnit 4. Okay, first of all, I'll go with the JUnit 5, then I will go with the JUnit 4. I will select the simple project, new project, say simple Java project. Okay, I'll say JUnit 5 demo. Selecting 1.8, I'll say next and finish. Okay. The other important point to be noted is for the JUnits, we don't require external jars to be mentioned separately. With all the Eclipse, the JUnit 4 and 5 will be available by default. Okay. As you can see, this is my GRE library 1.1. This is the source folder. So let me create one more folder with a test. I will select source folder. We need to select source folder because that will be considered as a class path. So I will say test and say finish. So here the source code we need to have the we need to have our source code, and here in the test case, the test source folder, we need to have the JUnit cases for that source code Java program. Okay. So actually, let's say that I have this class. So To create the JUnit class, what we need to do is we need to make sure that everything gets executed by passing some dummy values. So that's the JUnit testing. But here we are not going to take this class and start the JUnit. Let's take the predefined class. We have many predefined class. Let me use string. Let me use the string class from the java.lang. Okay, I will be using this string class and to performing unit testing on this on the methods it has. So it has many methods. You can see. So let's perform few unit cases on the. So let's perform JUnit on the methods of the predefined class string. Okay, I will not writing anything here. Let's assume that I have the class known as string. So this is my test source folder. So I'm right click on it and say new JUnit test case. When you select the JUnit, it's going to ask which one you want. You want to go with the JUnit 4 or you want to go with the JUnit 5. So I will say that I will select JUnit Jupyter. Okay, then I will go over the, let me select the name. So I will select string test. So if the string is the main class, we need to add test. We can add at the as a prefix or we can add at the as a suffix. So anything is fine. So I'm adding it as a suffix, or if at all you want, you can also add it as at the starting as test string. It's up to you. The many companies follow their own standards, different standards. So I have selected JUnit 5. It's saying that do you want to add JUnit 5 library to the build path? Yes, I want to add, because the JUnit library is already available with the Eclipse. Okay. Now I have the test string class. Okay, so this is the one which is available by default. So I'm not going to make use of it. If you look at this thing, as I said that JUnit, if you look at the conditions, whatever I have mentioned, rules and regulations, JUnit test case should not start with the public. The method should not start with the public. The method should return void. So that's what this unit test class should not have public. So we don't have public. So whereas for the void methods, it should return all the methods should test method should return the void, because they'll be not used by anyone else. So other important thing is even the method should not be public. Okay. So whereas in the JUnit 4 it's reverse. All the methods in the classes should be public. But the void is common for both the JUnit 4 and 5. Okay, and other important thing is, so we need to make use of the annotation known as at test. Okay, at test. So it tells us that this is the JUnit method. So I'm not going to make use of this thing. So the other important thing is in JUnit, if there is no failure, then it is considered as success. Here we have the failure, then it becomes considered as a failure. If we don't have the failure, then it will be automatically considered as success. So what I'm going to do is let me create. So we should not use public, right? Void. I will say to test length. So this is the method I have. So as is the JUnit case, we need to have the annotation as test before this method. So inside the method, we are going to test the length. Okay, I will say that string name is equal to, I will say this, and I will say num dot length. I'm going to store it inside the length. Okay, and what will be the length? What will the value here? Integer value we are going to get. So it will be 4. We know that. So and we have already provided the value, and we also know what is the length for it. Okay, so we need to make use of the assets. If you look at the assets, there are many assets. Let me click control space So you have many assets, asset, all, asset array, asset equals, but if you look at the asset array is the one which will be used, which where we'll be using most often. So asset equals, so here we need int. So I'll be selecting int expected and int actual. So here, what is expected? We know that what is the expecting, what is expected? The 4 should be, 4 is expected. Okay, so I will directly give the value here because I know what is the name, what is the length of the name. And here in the length, I don't know what will be the length I will be putting. So I'll be directly providing length here. This is the actual value after name calls the length method. Okay, so it's going to compare the expected value and the actual value. So expected value is 4, I know that, and the actual value I don't know. So it's going to compare it. If it is true, if both the values are, if 4 is equal to 4, then it's going to pass. Okay, so let me show you. So to execute this test case, to execute only this particular method, you need to select it and right click on it and say run as JUnit. So it's running at the end. You can see we got the green bar, which means that the test is success. So we have only one method that is known as testing, and it is success. Okay. So similarly, let me create one more test case to test the uh, uppercase. So we're saying length dot to uppercase. So this will be connected as uppercase, and I will be storing it inside the string. So I'll be saving inside the uppercase and the actual value. So let me select the assert equals control space asset equals next string, right? String comma string. So I'll be selecting string. Where is it? I don't find the string one. Okay, it's object comma object also. Okay. Okay, I'll use the string. Excuse me. So the expected string is this. So the uppercase of the name is this. I know that. So what is the expected? What is the actual value? Actual will be getting inside the uppercase. So we'll say this and the control as say this. So I'm saying that this is the expected. I'm expecting this when we say name dot to uppercase. It's a method of the one of the method of the string, right? So we'll be using all the methods and testing it. So I used to uppercase name dot uppercase. So definitely it should come as A.S.I.F. So that's what I'm testing. So let me select to want to run only this specific test case. I'm going to select this method and right click on it and say run as JUnit. So it's going to run only that particular method, and it is passed. To run all the methods available in this test string, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the class, right click on it and say run as JUnit. So it's going to run all the methods test cases available here. You can see the testing has a two test cases. One is the test length, other one is the test uppercase, and both are passed, and we don't have any errors. So this is the report what we got, right? So let me test one more method. That is to test the array. Let me test array. I'll copy this. Paste this. I will say to test array. Okay, I'll set this to test array. So the string I will be giving. So this is the string it has. So I need to convert I need to read each and every word present in the string. So what I will be doing is I'll be using name dot split. Name dot split. Split on what basis? Based upon the space. So whenever it finds the space, it's going to split. So I'm saying to split this name dot split based upon the spaces. So whenever it's going to find this, it's going to read it. Then it's going to find. Then it's going to consider this as another word. And then it's going to this one as another word as it has space. Then it has space. Then it has. So based upon the delimiter as space, it's going to split the string. So once it is split, I want it to store in an array because split return type is array. So this is the split data what we have. Let's say that votes. Let me rename this. Let's say we'll be getting votes, right? Array of votes. So to compare this, we have a special method known as array of assert of arrays. Assert array equals of the I'll make use of the string. So we can also have float, we can also have char double and all those strings. So I will be saying that I will be making use of the. So I need to compare both sides. So what I will be doing is, so the actual, what is my expected value? The expected value is a value is array of the string. So we'll say string of array of what are the words I need to get. So these are the words I need to get. First one is A.S.I.F. The second one is. The third one is, and the fourth one is, and the fifth one is. So this is the array I'm expecting, and the actual value what it is going to be. I'm going to say the actual value will be words. So this is the expected value and this is the actual value. So let me run this case, run as JUnit case. Let's see whether it's going to pass and fail. Yeah, it's pass. This is the array of the string we are expecting, and even here after split we'll be getting array of words. So this is a test for the array. To test the array, we need to compare it. We need to use assert array equals. Okay. So let me run one more test case for the null. So this is the test for the null. So let's say that I have let me say that I have this as null. Okay, I'm assigning none value to this string. Okay, so on top of it, what I'm going to do is, on top of it, I'm going to call one method. You can call, so whenever you call any method on top of the null, then you're going to get exception, right? That is null point exception. So that is what I need to test. So to test that, let me select any of this method. We can select any of this method. I will select toString. Okay, I'm calling toString on top of the null, so I'll be getting null point exception. So once I get the null point exception, so this is what I'm expecting. To compare the null, so what I will be doing is, so for this type we have one more assert known as assert null. So this is the what we have. This is one of the method what we have, assert null. So assert null will be simply providing the actual value. So what is the actual value? Actual value will be this. Okay. So we are expecting null. So this is the actual value. Whereas expecting, so we are expecting null, and this is the actual value. So this is how we can make use of the assert null. So it's going to predefined. It's going to have the expected value, and we just need to provide the actual value. Okay, this is the expected value, and this is the actual value. So that's the use of the null assert. And let me right click on it and say run as JUnit and test whether it's going to pass or not. Yes, this is pass. Okay, so let me run all the test cases. To run all the test cases, I'm going to select the class, right click on it and say run as JUnit. So you can see I have the 4 test cases inside this test string. So all the test cases should be passed. So 4 out of 4 are passed, and there are no errors and no failures. Everything passed. You can see also see the execution time. And once it is run, you can see one more thing. So all the past test cases are converted to the green. They are converted as green. That's a point to be noted. So this is nothing but code coverage. Let's say that if you look at the string, let me open the string class. Control Shift T and select this string class. So let me keep side by side so that I will get to know. So this is my main class, and this is my all the classes, all the methods available here. Okay, so I'm executing. I'll have given predefined names. So if I go with the names present in the string, then it's going to show green there as well. But this is the one. Okay, this is how we test the null array length and uppercases of a predefined class. And I select the predefined class because it's going to be easy for me. Instead of writing the class in the source folder and then executing the code coverage, but it will be very easy for me. So that's how we will be writing the JUnit test cases 5. So I've selected 4 methods. Let me write the same unit test cases for the JUnit 4. So let me create the project, other project. I'm going to go to packages. This is my JUnit 4 demo, and right click on it and say create Java project. This I'm going to say JUnit 4 demo. Say next, finish. This is my JUnit 4 demo. So this is my source folder. Let me create test folder, new source folder, and this for the test, right? So finish. So this is my test folder. Inside test, I'm going to create a JUnit test case. Now I'm going to select JUnit 4 instead of JUnit 5. So I will say it as okay test string. So this is the class. When I say finish, okay, it's going to add the JUnit 4 library because Eclipse already has them. So it's not required to externally download, externally point the jar file to the class path. Okay, I'm going to select things. So you can see J4 libraries has got added. So we have only few J4 libraries. Whereas if you look at the J4 libraries, we have many libraries, many jar files for the JUnit 5. Whereas for the JUnit 4, we just have 2. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll simply copy all the methods available here. Okay. So this is my JUnit 4. If you look at this thing, JUnit 4. So as the rule is all the methods, all the classes, class name should be public and the method name should be public. Okay, that's what it is showing. Let me paste the code what I have from the JUnit file and let me save it. When I save, see, okay, I'll say remove the, okay, when I save, I don't see any errors. Why? Because, okay, fine. I don't see any errors. Okay. Okay. I'm going to right click on it. say run as JUnit. See, it's failing. Almost 4 out of 4 classes failed. You know why? Because, let me close this. Okay. Let me say, right click on it, select the class name, run as JUnit. So when I run it, you can see there are 4 runs and everything got failed. Let me check what exactly it is. So let me expand this message. Okay, I will do one thing. I will copy the trace and go to the notepad. So this is the notepad. So what it is saying that the method test case should be public. Okay, uppercase should be public. And method test null should be public. Method test length should be public. Test array should be public. So all the test case what we have written should be public. So that's what it's saying. In the JUnit for the JUnit 4, you can see the method should be public, and whereas the JUnit test class should also be public. Whereas here they both should not be public. Both the class and method should not be public. So that's the that's the error what we are getting. So I will change all the methods as public. Okay. Now I'll try to run it again. Save it and let me select the class. Say run as JUnit. Now all the 4 test cases should pass. Wow, all got passed. That's the difference. Okay, that's the JUnit 4 and 5. So let me try one more way. Let's say that we need to handle the exceptions. So this is the JUnit 4. So to handle exception, let me write one more test case for it. To handle the exceptions, I will say public void. Let's say that. So let's say that I need to handle null pointer exception. I want to handle the null pointer exception. To handle the null pointer exception, what I'm going to say, it as so this is the name what I'm going to give. So inside it, so inside this, what I'm going to do is, okay, I will say this is my class, right? And inside this, I will let me say I have a string name is equal to, I will say null name. I will assign it as null. So whenever assign it null, so whenever I call any method, let's say that I want to call some string methods. I want to call let me call length. Okay, let me call length. So I'm calling length on the null value. So whenever we call the null on, whenever you call the method using null value, then we are going to get the null pointer exception, right? So the null pointer exception. Okay. So here, if I run this, I'll be getting a null point exception, but the case will not be passed because I don't have asset. I don't have a condition. Let me right click on it, say run as JUnit. Definitely, this thing is going to fail because I will be getting. Let me copy the trace. Okay, here I have. Let me copy the trace and paste it in a notepad. So it's saying that it has got null pointer exception here. This is what the expected condition. We need to handle it. We need to say expected and actual value. So this is the actual value. We are getting the actual value successfully. Now, how to write the expected value? That's the thing. So, let's check whether we have any effort for the to handle for exception. Also exception. Let me say control space exc. See, I don't see any exception, any method, asset method for the exception. So how we are going to handle? So we are going to handle that thing by using replacing test inside the test. Let me enter control space. When you enter control space, you can see a few elements. Let me select expected. Expected is what? It is null pointer exception, not class. So this is the expectation. This is the expected condition, and this is the actual condition. So we got the actual condition, but we are not comparing it with the expected condition. So this is expected and this is the actual condition. Now this test case should pass. Yeah, you can see this test case got passed, and this is the actual and this is the expected. So we need to write expected inside the test attribute. Okay, this is in the JUnit 4. Let me go to JUnit 5. This is the JUnit 4, right? Let me copy this and go to JUnit 5. So this is the JUnit file, right? I will go to the bottom and paste it. So as a method should not be public, I will delete this and save. See here, I'm getting some error. What is that? The attribute expected is undefined for the annotation type test. It's saying that in the JUnit file, expected is not a valid value. So we need to remove it. Then how to handle the exception in JUnit 5? So let's see whether we have any methods. Okay, I'll say assert space. So when you look at, we have a one method known as throws. So we have the one method known as throws. So using this method, we can handle the actual condition. So let me select which one to select. I'll go with the first one, executable executable. So this is the expected condition. What is the expected condition? We are expecting the null pointer exception. So instead of writing in the task class for the JS4, we'll be writing here. We'll be using asset throws, and inside it we'll be writing our null pointer exception. Okay. Null pointer exception. Good. Okay. So what is executable? Okay. Let me Control Shift T and enter executable. Executable class is from the Jupyter ap.function. Yeah, this is from the this one. So executable is an interface. So what is that interface? So it has the functional interface. It's a functional interface, java.lang.functional interface. The executable.java is a functional interface. So what do you mean by functional interface? So functional interface is nothing but if at all they have only one method, they are called as a functional interfaces. So what is the method it has? So it has a method known as execute. So this is the only method it has. So functional interface is nothing but if at all they have, it is an interface which has only one method. Okay, an executable class is a functional interface which has a method execute. Okay, okay, fine. So we used executable. So this executable is an interface. So I'm going to make use of the lambda expression as can be applied on the functional interfaces. So lambda expression can be applied in the functional interfaces because they have only one method. So I will apply lambda expression. So what is that name? So this expression, what I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, remove this semicolon, save. So this is the lambda expression what I have. CEPTIY. So that's a spelling mistake. So you can see test null pointer exception. So I'm using lambda expression here. So this is the expected and this is the expected and this is the actual condition. So when you call the null dot length, it's going to return the null pointer exception. Let me check this. Select this method, right click, say run as JUnit. Yeah, it's green. It's green body is for the pass, and you can see null point exception is successfully run. Okay, that's the null point exception. Okay. Okay, fine. So let me talk about one more annotation. Till now we have seen only test. So let me talk about one more annotation. That is the